What's up, you guys? Your girl Sadé is here,
Hey, it's your boy Blair.
and we're over the BS, and we are back with, another show it's kind of crazy what's been going on in 2021, just a few weeks in, huh, Blair?
Yeah, too much. Too much is
Too
going on.
much. Ti and Tiny. If you probably don't know anything about this if you've been living under a rock, but Ti and Tiny right now are facing allegations from people of sexual abuse, of drugging them, trafficking is
Mhm.
words that are getting thrown around right now all over the internet and social media on the blogs. And finally, some of the news outlets have now picked it up after Ti released a statement. So it's just a lot going on right now. And I just want to know, Blair, first of all, what do you even make of all this? What,
Well, speaking for myself and myself only, I will say that everyone is innocent until proven guilty, okay? But the same way that you can put T.I. in innocent, you can put T.I. in penitentiary. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm just patiently waiting to find out if these allegations are true. However, I got beef with old girl Sabrina. I know that she's making this known, but it sounds like her and Ti and Tiny had beef already, and then all of a sudden she's now enlisting all these other people who have allegedly been assaulted by them, which I think is kind of ironic and a little suspicious. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
So,
Because you have to put yourself in other people's shoes too. Like, what if someone is lying on someone? So everything is possible. I don't have someone's guilty or someone's innocent right now. I just think the shit is crazy and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
you need a bit of a rush in the pandemic, and this is doing it for you.
It's just so crazy because okay, if Tiny and Ti did this, to say that I would be surprised, it would be a little lie because I mean he's gone to jail before with guns and they both got arrested for drugs and all this stuff. So you know what? I don't know what they're capable of, and I'm not saying that drug users that doesn't mean that they're going to be sexual predators, but I mean their statement was very strong, I think.
I I agree with what you're saying too, because um, as I was reading the statement and thinking back of just like the track record that Ti has had,
Mm-hmm.
that family does seem like they're capable. And even so, regardless of who they are, like when it comes to anybody who's wealthy, period, I feel like you never know what they're capable of because money speaks to people in so many different ways. And some people are willing to do whatever it takes to protect what they have, and they have the means to do so. Now, I mean, this is something else that happened this week, but I think it's a direct reflection with Robinhood capping, people being able to invest and actually make money off of AMC and Doge coin and GameStop and all these things. And they basically capped it and made sure no one could buy shares and no one else could get wealthy, and keeping the rich rich because they had the ability to do that even though it's illegal.
Yeah.
So I mean, if a corporation or an app can do that, there's no telling what somebody who is rich and famous can do.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly think that it's hard I feel like people, the public in general, they're already trying to cancel people. And like, listen, you can't just go canceling people and not know what the hell's going on. But I will say that I was very surprised by these allegations. And just think about it. When's the last time that you were surprised about something like this? I mean, R. Kelly, that shit wasn't surprising. We all knew that he liked little
He's been
girls
leaving us a paper trail
for a long time. But
for
like Bill
years.
Cosby, like for some people, Bill Cosby was a big surprise, unless you were like in the streets like that. But for a lot of people, it was a very surprising to see Mr. Huxtable in a prison cell. I'm just saying. So I'm a little, and Tiny and Ti are like the hood Cosbys,
Yeah.
if you
The
will.
family hustle, okay? Not the Huxtable, the family hustle, okay?
I'm just saying. I mean, they both been to prison. I mean, I'm sorry, Tiny hasn't been in prison, but they both been. One has been to prison. One has been to jail. One is in escape. The one might need to escape. I don't know what to say.
They both have a ton of children.
Both have a ton of children. They have different
Just
baby
like
mamas, baby daddies.
Huxtables. But you know, you're right about the surprise factor too. And I think what makes it even more shocking is when everything starts to basically the catalyst, right, is like a family friend. So that's when, it seems more believable because this is like someone who's been close to them for
Right.
so long. Why would they do this now? That's always a question to throw around. Like, why now? And
why are the
why
people
would
going to her though?
and why would you do that to like a close friend, right?
But why are the alleged victims contacting her and not the police? That's my thing. Like, how are they all contacting just her?
I know.
Like,
So that's another thing
Lisa Bloom? Is she the Lisa Bloom of Atlanta?
no, but that's something I've even wondered too. Like, so what is going on here? That's like, okay, that she seems to be their one, like, voice, right?
Yeah.
And this makes me think a little bit of, the Army Hammer thing, right? Everyone's voice is coming through this House of Effie Instagram account, which that is still somewhat anonymous as far as I know. The House of Effie seems to be anonymous, right? But this is like a known person who's being used as like the vessel for these women to like share their stories and come forward. So that's where it's kind of like, and it's from a family friend. So you wonder how valid, like, this could be extremely valid, or it could be some other thing, like the exact complete opposite to like take advantage and bring someone down for whatever other reason. So it is weird and convoluted how you never know what's going on. And the thing is, at the same time, you're like, you have someone's reputation or two people's reputation, their family, but then you also have victims. And, if the people involved in this were to fabricate something, then it's really terrible for victims of actual like sexual abuse in that respect. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's like we want to believe women, we want to believe victims, like, because that's horrible if anything like that was to happen to them. So I feel like it's just really like sticky situation.
Yeah. And like Ti doesn't have a good history with like being the most, how do I say, open-minded person. I mean, who in the hell is checking on their daughter's hymen? Who is Team Bill Cosby? Like, some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah, no, sorry, the hymen thing always creeps me out. And that did not help the situation when adding,
Yeah, it doesn't help. And I just feel like, again, it's just kind of suspicious to me. I don't know. Because, listen, it could be a little bit of both. Maybe the girl knew this was happening. Maybe she was part of it the entire time and it's not known. But
she's got an opportunity.
Yeah, but if she was part of it, low-key, allegedly, if she was low-key a part of it, recruiting some of these girls or doing things to some of these girls, why would T.I. and Tiny say, well, she was part of it too, because that would make them guilty. So maybe that's a leverage that she could have. Listen, I'm just saying, I'm putting everything out on the table. I'm not saying he's right, they're right, she's right, everyone. But for me personally, I'm just going to wait it out and see, because when Jussie Smollett got his ass beaten, I was like, oh, they beat his ass. Oh, the racists, Trump supporters. And then what do we find out?
Wow.
Allegedly, it was all a lie. Allegedly,
it was all a lie.
Allegedly.
His sister love her. She's, his family journey, they all swear by him and stick by his side. I get it, family.
Well, they weren't there.
But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't even know. I know. I personally felt when everything was coming out and they're saying, actually, he made it up. I was like, I feel bamboozled and, I feel duped because, everyone's rushing to his aid. Like, what the heck? Like, hate crimes against somebody who is a person of color as well as somebody from the LGBTQ community. Like, this is wrong. Using nooses and beating someone up. It can touch every single person, right? Like a story like that. So when, again, like we're saying, if how it is to be fabricated, it really takes away from the people who are facing these sorts of crimes or atrocities in their life. So
can I read their statement?
Oh yes, go ahead. The statement is something else, y'all.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Harris want to be on record and, more importantly, want the public to know they deny in the strongest way possible the rigorously, T.I., he definitely said this. Appalling allegations being made against them by Sabrina Peterson. The Harrises have had difficulty with this woman for well over a decade. They are taking this matter very seriously, and if these allegations don't end, they will take appropriate legal action. But see, this is the issue I have, because point blank period, she has already said too much not to already sue a bitch. If you didn't do this, if our Army Hammer did not do any of that, why would he drop out of a J-Lo movie? Because it was probably gonna do bad anyway, because we know J-Lo can't act or sing, as we saw at the inauguration. However, why would you even dare to step away?
I had to put that out there. Sorry.
He said, "Let's get
I could
loud."
not let that moment pass without saying let's get loud.
Oh my God. So I just, for
Anywho,
me,
but I agree with you. I agree with you. Because it's true. At this point, there is a lot that you could already say. She's said this. People are circulating screenshots. You have a clear defamation case if that's the case. And I know he was on something. I was listening to The Breakfast Club, and they actually aired a clip of him, T.I., saying like, this is defamation, and you should believe victims. But when it comes to this, and trying to like ruin like my career, my family, and what we do in our bedroom was with people who was. He didn't say with people. He said it was what we do is consensual, and that's all that matters. So
this is why if you're going to have a threesome, it's important to be smart like Candy and Todd and do an NDA. I'm just saying.
I mean, like, NDAs are powerful. I don't understand why more people aren't using them.
Like Tiana Taylor, like she knows a good NDA because her and her man were doing threesomes. Candy and Todd, they were doing their shit. I'm just saying, sign an NDA.
I know, and like a lot of people, it seems like it's the best way to like keep your business together if you're somebody that's in the limelight.
Yeah, and if I mean,
maybe letting people, yeah.
And maybe I don't know how an NDA works because it's important to separate the NDA because something could happen. I mean, you could be doing an NDA with a predator and not even freaking know it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. I mean, what was old girl's name from Charmed? Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
After she was assaulted by Harvey Weinstein, she signed a letter and she got a certain amount of money back. But then she wanted it to be known that this man was still doing things. So just because you sign an NDA doesn't mean that you're completely safe either.
Yeah.
You think that you're going to be.
It's true. I mean, but that's when people face like, okay, well, when I break this NDA, like whatever is outlined in it, so you're going to get fined, you're probably going to get a whole bunch of other stuff. But there's also like the scary part that's probably not talked about. Like people, again, are powerful. You don't know who they have connections to, all of that stuff. So I feel like there's all of that to think about there. You know what? And also bringing up the NDA thing. Some of these women they were saying could have been like younger and minors. There's also just like one, not really even knowing what's going on and like the pressure to be like, well, just sign this, because even if you take away all of that, there's people who get into the business and they don't even know the contract they're signing to just be a part of a record label. So imagine somebody trying to give you a contract to sign over, what something that you're going to do in private in the dark. Damn. Like there's also that pressure. So I feel like it could be really nerve-wracking, especially if these women are younger, or what if they're having them sign these NDAs allegedly while they're already under the influence? Because some of those screenshots were saying, there's like drugs on the table or they're like drinking and like, you hear all these.
Well, one thing's for sure, Sabrina, the girl that is alleging that T.I. and Tiny, the old friend that also alleged that T.I. held a gun to her head, which we all know he's really handy with guns. We're going to call him Woody from Toy Story. But I will say that she did take a polygraph test and she shared the results. Now, I know that technically it doesn't mean that it's the truth, but I'm just saying that she's taking those extra steps.
Yeah. And she was demanding it too. I think at one point she was like, well, where can I find one? Tell me right now. I'm going right now.
I don't know. I'm just saying. And I feel like the culture, Black people, it's important you can't just side with people just because they are a rapper or they are a famous influencer or whatever. It's important to stand for what's right. And part of standing for what's right is sometimes not saying anything at all, not having an opinion right away. You have to wait until you see all the evidence. In this country, you used to, be, found guilty through a court of law. Not guilty before you even get to go to damn court.
Not guilty on like the Twitter courts.
Exactly. Like it's important that we kind of wait things out. Again, I will keep saying it till whenever. The R. Kelly situation. We love R. Kelly. We don't care. It took a documentary for people to cancel R. Kelly.
Really wake up. Yeah. And the thing is, like, it was in front of their faces, everyone's faces. Again, over again and again and again. He literally left a music trail and a paper trail, like right there. and it's awful. And that's why I totally agree with you with like people need to separate like, oh my god, this is my the person I love, or I love their music, and like really take a look at the situation. If you're gonna go like if you're about to go to bat for someone who, like, let's be real, doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes know you exist, like, is that the hill you want to die on? Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion. I couldn't believe how over and over people kept saying, well, like, what did Meg do? Like, why did I'm like, but you have visible pictures of her shot in the foot, crawling out of like the car that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still being like, well, like, I don't know, Tory's still whatever. Like, I still like Tory. I'm gonna listen to his new track or album that he launched right after, and like essentially support him. Yet you said listen to Black women, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's important to listen to each side as the weeks progress because things are going to start coming out. I'm just going to say Sabrina looks like she has a good case again, like for her. I'm just saying. I'm just saying we shall see what happens. I'm not team anyone at this moment because I don't know how spiteful people are. I don't know how evil some of these people may be, but I'm just going to look at history and I would not be surprised if he allegedly put a gun to her head, what else he was capable of.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be team anybody on this period, but
Mhm.
I agree with you. Like, he doesn't have the shiniest track record, and the way that she's presenting her case and like really bringing all this stuff to light, it seems like she is going full force. Which, in that respect, if she's like, okay, whatever you're gonna throw at me, I am willing to take to
Yep.
share this. And that's when I'm like, okay, you are willing to be like, whatever, I'm going to put all these allegations out here. I'm going to say my truth, and I'm going to take a polygraph test, and whatever else you guys have to have, bring it. Makes me think, okay, well, she seems very, like, you know, strong in what she's experienced and what she has to share. So it seems like there's more, validity in what's going on. But I just, also hope for the allegations, the other, women who are sending her their screenshots and their stories, that I hope um, that, they're getting help for whatever, they've experienced, or whatever that's, they've had to go through or have to endure afterwards, whatever's happening. Because at the same time, these are like victim stories. And at least I will say I do prefer to not side, but to still like hear the victim, listen to the victim, and hope you know hope they get their treatment right, and they
Yeah.
get help, and they get heard, and to like believe them.
Yeah.
So
I think VH1 needs to suspend their show until something is comes out until there's a clear answer to what has happened.
why, for
And
some reason, I think you're about to say they need to do a behind the music right now.
no. We don't need that right now.
I was
We'll
like,
call
wait,
Lifetime. We'll
what?
call if they're guilty. We'll call Lifetime in a couple years. But right now, I think VH1 needs to drop them. I think that technically they need to be on some sort of suspension. And I think the mayor of Atlanta needs to kind of chill, hanging out with Ti a little bit. I think it's time to let this guy just got go down by himself at this point, allegedly. Okay, because we don't know what happened. I'm not saying I know what happened because I don't. I personally haven't heard anything like this. I never had any idea. So it was a shock to me as it was a shock to so many of us and our listeners. But again, I because of Jesse Smollett, I'm not taking no sides.
I know it is. I, I swear. Some of this, it's just like crazy to hear, and again, sometimes when it's so crazy, you're almost like, it's so crazy, like it seems like it could be true, and that's so that's where I'm at. I guess I would say it. I'm interested to see how it unfolds. I really hope victims who are out there get their help, and get, if they are truly victims, get their help, get everything they need, and
And it seems like, Sabrina looks like she has some credit. That's all I'm gonna say. It's really
yeah.
it's really hard to like think that why 10 years later after you guys already have this falling out that she is now coming out about this. So maybe she knew and just like wanted to wait till the right time, you know, after watching Wendy
I
Williams'
believe
movie.
also she said in a statement somewhere, or maybe made a post and was saying that like this was like weighing on her for so long, like, and I guess it, it's playing on her and it's like affecting her, and she wanted to speak her truth. So
Yeah, and I mean, she knew she had an idea, or maybe she had a suspicion, and then she acted on it, and one of the girls contacted her. Maybe she didn't know the full story, or maybe she was being lied to, and that's why she's coming out with it. So kudos to Sabrina for even shedding light on a possible situation.
yeah.
But we want to know from you guys, do you guys think that T.I. and Tiny are innocent? I think it's important to really think about the situation, and I mean, think about what could really be going on in our own like backyards too. Like, if these celebrities are doing shit like this, who knows what other
Like,
celebrities are
take
doing?
away the fame. Like, if someone was doing that to like young girls, like that is awful, and it is sick,
Yeah.
and it is gross. So take away the stardom and the fandom and all that stuff, and like be a human and like look at it that way.
Because that shit doesn't even matter. Like, what does someone being a celebrity do for you?
He made that song, that I love, Bring Him Out or
Big
whatever.
shit popping and little shit.
Yeah, and he was in, he was in this movie that I love, like,
ATO.
yeah, ATL and I guess a bunch of others. Yeah.
And my thing is Tiny too, because like, girl, you are a woman. Like, you allowing your husband or whatever, not allowing because she might have been, she could have been the mastermind. Who knows, allegedly. I'm just saying it could have been anything because I don't know. I don't check their pocketbooks. I don't know how they're doing financially. So maybe they did start a little brothel, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, we might even name this episode allegedly. Like, there might not be an over, just straight allegedly, okay?
Allegedly over T.I. and Tiny. Like,
Yeah, there we go, right there. Because honestly, we're not trying to get wrapped up in this case either.
I'm not going to court. I swear to God, I'm not going to court. Allegedly.
Put it in a pan.
But we want to hear from you guys. I know this is a little short show, but like we really needed to talk about this. We need to spread awareness about sexual assault. We need to talk about just predators out there. So please follow us at Over the BS Show.
And all of that stuff, I want to just plug that in real quick too. Grooming is just as sick. Those are predators. People waiting for people to turn 18, waiting until they're 17. That is sick. That is gross. Be aware of that too in your own backyard.
Nikita Dragon.
So you saw it.
Allegedly.
So you saw it too, allegedly.
I saw the TikTok. So if you didn't know, Nikita Dragon, the makeup artist, who has the really bad butt job, she decided to allegedly had a bad butt job. I think it's like really like the hips don't match girl. But anyway, so she wrote on a 17-year-old.
Jersey Trios.
He was 17 at the time and said, when are you going to be 18? And then he said when he was going to be 18. And then when he turned 18, she hopped on it.
And then she said, oh, so I heard you're like 18 now or something.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So that's weird.
She's doing makeup and looking at the elementary schools, I guess.
I'm like, stop. Don't say it. I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Over the BS. I'm Blair.
I'm Sadé.
Sadé, do you want to add anything? Oh, also, make sure you guys follow us on our social medias. At I am Blair T on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and then On Air with Blair on TikTok.
Yes. And you can catch me on TikTok at Sadé TV and on Twitter and Instagram at Sadé A Spence. And don't forget to follow, I don't know if we said this already, but don't forget to follow us at Over the BS Show on socials.
Yes, guys. So, keep your minds open. Don't take sides just yet. You can have your opinion, but we gonna see what happens next, y'all.
We gonna see.
They're gonna be innocent or in the penitentiary.
Stop. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.